Awesome. Okay. So this is Lisa Miller. Lisa, tell me where you are and what you're doing today.
Well, right now I'm at my office in Sandpoint.
Which is in
Came,
Idaho, right?
right, yep, Sandpoint, Idaho. And I came down to do some office work and connect with people since I have no internet at my house or very good cell phone service.
And why not, Lisa? Tell people where you live.
I live a half an hour out of town on the top of a mountain, off grid, in a little farm cabin type house. Um, yeah, no electricity except for solar, and we have a well, and I mean we have hot showers and toilets and everything like that. But everything is a lot of work to, you know.
Yeah.
But we have a place to live.
Yes, you do. And okay, so tell people kind of like how we first met and then what you were doing when when you came to the spiritual retreat. You can tell as much or as little about that as you want. And then kind of what happened after that that led you to this off-grid life, because it's such an awesome story, so inspirational to me.
Oh, geez, it's been such a whirlwind year. I can't even. I need to sit and write it down. Um,
Maybe this will help.
yeah, at that time, see, like I had already signed up for the spiritual retreat because I felt like I needed some direction and support, considering that I was having all these gifts and things start to happen and wake up, and I just didn't know what to do with them or how to ground myself very well. And I was looking for a community of women to help uplift me and support me and tell me that I'm not crazy and that it's okay. So
So
I
pause real
signed up.
quick. We connected in Reiki training, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I knew Nicole through doTERRA before, and
Mm-hmm.
loved I loved your energy. I loved everything about you. And when I did sign up for Reiki and I took the Reiki course with Jennifer Brown. You were there. I was so excited because it was a familiar face that I knew, and it just made everything seem not so scary because I had
Yeah.
friends already.
You did that for me too, as well, just so you know, because this was like, we did Reiki 1 and 2 together.
Yeah. So it was like this, it just seemed to make it easier to handle, and it made it okay. And you were just so reassuring, and that was awesome. So so the spiritual retreat couldn't have come at a more amazing time because it was just like at that time that I'd broken up with a long-term relationship that was just very, very toxic and awful. And the way it ended was pretty awful. And so just like a few days before that happened, and then I was able to go to this retreat and just get so much clarity and so much like healing and support and love. And I just felt so held and appreciated. And I was able to go home and just have a new vision and direction and just confidence in myself that I never had before. When everyone was just so supportive and loving, I was just like, okay, I can do this. And it just gave me just a new belief in myself. Because it was after I got back that I was like, okay, this is time to live my life. And I'm tired of living in town. I want to buy a piece of property and I want to live out and I want to build my own natural earth house. So, and my dream was to build an Earthbag house, which is a house out of sandbags. And
Where
so
did you get that idea from? Until I met you, I'd never even heard of that. So tell us a little bit about the development of that idea.
I have been studying natural home building for years, trying to decide the model that I wanted to use. I knew I wanted to build a natural home because, number one, the homes we build are so toxic, and we live and breathe in these homes that are just built of just chemicals, and they're destroying the environment, and they're cutting down trees, and I just didn't believe in that and support that when I knew there was a better way. When there's these hordes of communities that are building these homes from natural resources, from their own property for a fraction of the cost. And I just thought, well, that's a no-brainer. But then there's so many different avenues. There's the cob house and the straw bale house and the log cabin. There is the sandbag house. Gosh, there's just like a ton of different. So I just went and I weighed all the pros and cons of each one, and I studied each one, and I watched videos on each one excessively. I got books on each one, and it came down to the fact that the sandbag house, Earthbag house, was definitely the way to go because, number one, you use the earth from your own property, and it didn't have to be a very specific mix like cob did. It had to be very specific in order to set up. Plus, cob was way more time consuming. It takes up to a year to build a house. Beautiful and you do so much stuff with it. But the Earthbag house, I was in a lot more. I had like 2 months where I was supposed to get a structure up to live and be functional. This 28-foot dome or round, so it's round. And so you get the sandbags and you fill it with the dirt from your property and you get it wet, and then you fold it up, you lay it down, and then you just pound the crap out of it. And when it dries, it's like a brick. It is so hard. And so not only was it stronger and water resistant, because the weather up here can be crazy. So I knew that cob would be a little too touchy with the snow and the rain, and Earthbag, it tends to be a little bit more sturdy as far as that goes. So that's why I chose it. And then I just went on to study it with books and YouTube videos and all that.
But it didn't take you that long. Like the way you're describing it sounds like you like studied for like years and years, but really like we had our retreat in April. And then in the summertime, I'm seeing you posting videos of you with like big old bags over your shoulders, and your 3 little girls are with you, and you've got, family and friends helping you sometimes. And I'm like, and it's like coming up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you just, it's like you went home and you're like, done with this, done with this, done with this, gonna get my life in alignment, body, mind, and spirit. Let's do it. I'm ready. And you just like educated yourself and you just went for it. So like, what was the process like start to finish? I mean, well, not finish, but start till now.
So, well, the education of my home, like building my home, I knew that was like already in the making. Like I knew that's what I wanted to do, but I just, put it off, all these excuses. Plus Kootenai County wouldn't let me build what I wanted to build. They have a lot of restrictions, and and I think that was one of the things that held me back. It's like, this is my tribe. I live in Post Falls. I love everybody here. I don't want to leave. But I knew Bonner County would let me build what I wanted to build. So after I left the retreat, I was like, what am I doing? Like, they're never going to let me build what I want to build. Now, without extreme like money and engineers and all that, I just need to shift my thinking and realize, just let go of that idea and have God direct me where I'm supposed to go. Mm-hmm. Soon as I let go of that idea, the fact that there wasn't supposed to stay there, I was pulled to Sandpoint. That day I was like, okay, I'm going to find a realtor today who's going to help me find my property. I pulled up to this only empty spot on the entire street, and it happened to be right in front of a Remax. I walked in and I was like, hey, I'm looking for a really special piece of property. And he's like, let me guess, you're going to build an off-grid home and an off-grid lifestyle, and you want this.
Oh, I just got chills.
Like, yeah, that's exactly what I want. He's like, I'm your guy. I specialize in agriculture and off-grid lifestyle. And I was like, cool. 3 days later.
What's that guy's name, in case anybody listening is like, wants to move to Idaho?
I have his information. I don't remember. His last name is like really hard to pronounce.
Okay. Well,
but he's an amazing realtor. He went on his site. He went on and he's like, no. This is why. Look at the way it's on this side of the mountain. You want south facing. You want this. See the deep ravines. You don't want that. It's going to have to be a flood zone. And I had no idea. I was like, oh, okay. So great. So within a day, he narrowed it down to 3. In 2 days, he showed me this other one. called me up and said, I found your property. It was the first one we looked at. And when I went up there to this property, so it's a half an hour out of town, and it's 8 miles up this windy road. It's beautiful. But then you turn onto this, and then it's a mile and a half up a dirt road up a mountain. Beautiful place. And I knew, like, I was walking and I just got, like, my hands were vibrating and I just got like chills, and there's a creek and water, and it's, I just knew it was the place. So I put an offer on it that day, and they accepted the following. And then the process started. 30 days later, it was mine.
And you had shot me a Facebook message that day, I think. And you're like, tell me I'm not crazy. Do you remember that? And I was like, of course you're not crazy. You're living your truth. And holy cow, way to go, girl.
I know. I was like, because I'm like, I am taking a leap of faith. I'm buying 20 acres on the top of a mountain, and I'm a single mom, and there's there's like a creek, but there's nothing, like, there's no house, there's no nothing. We have a little camper, and we're going to camp for 3 months while we build this house. Am I crazy? Because from the outside looking in, I look like I was crazy. But
and had we already sold our house by then, or were we?
No.
Or
you
were
were
we
in the process. Yeah.
Oh, it was listed. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we were both kind of like holding our breath in anticipation, going, I know it's the right thing to do. I've never done anything like this before, but I really feel like this is what we're supposed to do and that it will happen. But sometimes you need to have a friend that you can say,
it's okay.
Am I crazy?
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay. Just keep putting one foot in front of the other.
Yeah.
And that was it. Like,
Hi, Bryn. Is that Brinley?
It is Brinley. Look how big she's got.
Oh my gosh. Hi, Bryn.
Hi.
Just go push this button right there. Okay. Everyone was so excited because no one in my family or a little community of friends had ever done anything like that before. So it was like, we want to be part of it. We want to help you. And so multiple weekends, I just had these big groups of people, and they had no idea what to do. I don't know what you did to it then. Just a second. Okay, give me 1 minute.
You can help her. Go ahead. This is how we roll. We have kids.
Okay, let me just get her
Okay, so while you're doing that, I'm going to just briefly interject. Lisa has 3 beautiful girls. They are all just amazingly spiritually gifted little ladies. And Lisa and I kind of go in and out of each other's radar here and there when big things are happening in each other's lives. And it's just been really gorgeous to see how she's raising these girls to know and trust their intuition, to use their gifts, to love Jesus, and also know that, like, we're completely connected to the earth and nature, and we see her taking these big leaps. And I've seen her family. She has a very supportive family and community, and I've seen her go for, goals in her businesses, or leave life situations that weren't a good fit anymore, and have her family and friends rally around her. So she's a really special person. I think you can probably pick that up from this interview. Okay, I was just bragging about you and your sweet girls a little bit.
That's sweet. Anyway, where was I? Oh, so yeah. So it was really cool. That the thing about Earthbag is that anybody could learn it and pick it up really quickly. So all these people, there was the one weekend I had 30 people come. And so we had teams and stations of filling wheelbarrows with dirt, and then filling bags, and then handing them dirt up, and people laying barbed wire, people tamping, and then like rotating. So, it's a hard job. So, and then I'm up there trying to manage and keep everything going, and everyone's asking me questions and running out of nails and needing hammers and needing this and that. And it was just like this big production, and I wish I would have videotaped the whole thing because it was pretty cool. And it went together fast from when we first started, which was Labor Day weekend. It was like, people were like, oh, this is going to take you 6 months. It was going together so quickly because I couldn't wrap my mind around it. I was so extremely excited. And I thought, there's no reason why we can't finish. You know, we might not have a finished home, but it's going to be walls and it's going to be warm and we'll have a fire and maybe I have to cook over the fire, but it's not going to be a big deal. And well, God had other plans because there was some major setbacks that we had, which I don't necessarily think, I necessarily need to get into, but some trauma, some very traumatic things that somebody showed up and decided he wanted to ruin it all and ends up assaulting me and my daughter. And it was a big deal. Anyway, I was completely put out of commission with dislocated shoulder, dislocated back. I couldn't walk. Went to the chiropractor several times, was oiling, was raking, was just praying, and I felt really good. And so I just pushed through. And because I had people coming that weekend where I was supposed to be off, I was supposed to be on bed rest for like 3 weeks. I was on the wall filling bags 4 days later, which was crazy. So anyway,
You're like, oh no, you didn't.
But I was like, you know what? I got a house to finish. I have kids. This has to happen. So I just kept pushing through, and that was my body said, nope, nope. You need to rest. And so I'm just up on the wall, just like tamping one day because it's starting to get cold. We're into October, like the very end of September, 1st of October. And I feel my back go pop, tighten, and my legs just go, and I just dropped. And luckily I landed on the wall because I was up pretty high, but I was laid there. I could not move. I was like paralyzed. Mm. So I had thrown my back completely out, and that I was down. I was down, completely immobilized, and that everything came to a screeching halt at that point. And so, and it was a really hard thing because it was something that I had pushed so hard for. I was just like, this is happening. And I had my mind like so dead set on this that I was like this tunnel vision that I couldn't open my blinders and realize like there is a bigger picture here. Relax. Looking back now, I can see it because at that point I had already met Joe, my knight in shining armor neighbor, who just kept showing up all the time. Here's propane, here's water, here's this. And an interesting thing was what everyone that asked me, like, what are you doing? Like, you're moving up on the top of the mountain with your 3 girls. I'm like, I'm not going to be alone. There's somebody waiting for me. I know it. I don't know where or when, but I'm just going to meet somebody. And my mom was like, that's a nice fantasy, honey. Okay. Like, I seriously, like, God told me, I know it. I know it's going to happen. And it took some serious, I don't know, I felt like God had to shake me and some serious things to happen. Like, I kept fighting it because he was there and he was amazing. And I had this most incredible vibe about him, but I just couldn't see it because I was so like, oh, I got to finish my house. And he's like, well, why don't you come and live in this house that I have already done? And I'll live at the shop if you don't want me there. But it's warm and it's dry and it has power and you don't have to stress about finishing your house. And I was like, oh, you really want 4 girls to come and invade your house? Like, why would you want that? Secretly, I didn't know that he had ulterior motives because he was in love with me. But genuinely, even if it didn't work out, he was very genuine about his offer. So the funny story is it literally took a bear ravaging my camp, destroying my kitchen, and all the things I had set up for me to realize, okay, I'm listening. Okay, I will go and live in this house.
I did not hear this bear story.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah, we left for a while and came back to a destroyed campsite. This bear
Oh.
just get into food that it was all packed up. Like it just went and ravaged everything. And it just changed all. Like I was just like, how can I bring my kids here? Like, how can I like be cooking out here knowing that this thing was here and knows there was food here and is probably watching me? Because the day before I actually had seen it. I went out to the bathroom because we had this outside little toilet that was, there was like a wall, but it was out and open. So at night it was a little chilling, sit down, and I looked up and I saw these two big yellow eyes looking at me, and I was like, in the camper. And that was the bear waiting for something when I'm gone.
You're like, you're like the wilderness woman.
So we joke about it now because Joe's like, but that was like, okay, I'll do it. Like, when can I move in? That was my turning point. And so Joe jokes like, that was my buddy, the bear. Like, he's one that finally got you to agree to come and live with me. Because then it was at that point that once I finally agreed, he was like, so would you ever consider dating me? I was like, what? Oh, it's you. Of course it's you. Yeah, let's do it.
So it didn't freak you out too bad, even though you
Not
had
at
kind of
all.
just been in a relationship. You were like, you just felt it. I was like,
Well, technically I hadn't been in a relationship since April. So, yeah, it had been a while. We had such this like magnetic, incredible connection that it was magnetic. And he has the most beautiful energy. When he holds me, he's like, oh my gosh, I'll go through healing sessions upon healing sessions and I come home and I'm just like, ugh. And he just hugs me and it's just like everything falls away and I feel myself coming right back up and I'm just like, good. Just with him holding me, it's beautiful. So he has a beautiful, clearing, protective energy, and I can't even explain it, but
Eric's like that for me too. I'm like, oh, you're the tree and I'm like the bird. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, just come hug my tree, and I feel like so rooted and grounded. And we live, you can see behind me, we live in our 28-foot travel trailer, and like, so, you know, home is where you park it at this point in our life. And the other night we were just like laying there talking and snuggling, and I was like, you're home to me. You're my home. You and the kids are my home. And it's oh, I'm so glad. I've wanted that for you for as long as I've known you. That was Brinley.
Yeah, she's like, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Finley.
She's awesome.
Yeah, it was like this incredible. We have such an amazing communication. Like, he reads me so good, and he doesn't like, I don't even have to say anything. He just like picks up on those little things, and he just like, we just mesh so good. And he just has the most beautiful, calming energy. My girls, they have just blossomed so much, and he loves them, like genuine, just like, he's like, they're my girls, and he's very possessive and protective of them. So it's amazing. And they call him dad, and they just cuddle and snuggle him all the time, and it's like we're a family. So yeah,
Yay.
we have a wedding in 43 days.
Yay.
I can't believe it's going by really fast. Like, anyway.
I love it. And one of the things, like, our lives are usually, maybe we aren't aware of it as much because it's just our daily stuff we're doing, but they are this gorgeous visual aid for people to see what like a life of faith, a life of spiritual connection, a life of ups and downs looks like, right? And so one of the things I'm really embracing is that we learn just as much by like the things that quote unquote don't go right as we do by, you know, the things that we think do go right. And one of the things I love about you is that you have modeled this amazing journey for your girls, and just what it looks like to be like, okay, I know that this is there for me. Let's explore this avenue. Oh, that's not it. We gained these life lessons and circumstances, and we have this wisdom now. Okay, now I know more what it feels like, And then when you do find it, you also model the courage to go for your dreams and stuff. So I'm curious to see if like you've had any conversations with your girls, or if they can see it now, or if it might be something later that they recognize. Because I mean, you and I both grew up in kind of a conservative backgrounds, similar, and but a little different. And I know I was always taught the message that like you do it right, and then you have God's favor or whatever. And then if you make certain mistakes, then it's like, well, you got what you deserved. You went down the wrong path. And it's very much like this punitive, like somebody up there is trying to teach you a lesson, and until you get it right, it's like the mouse in the maze. And every time you get shocked, somebody's up there going, told you so, told you so.
We lost Nicole.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button.
That's okay.
Like, where'd I go?
All right.
But it's like the mouse in the maze where, every time you get shocked, there's not somebody up there saying, oh, you did it wrong. Ha, ha, ha. Do it my way now. That's not how it is. I mean, it's only love that teaches us, right? It's not anything else, really. Just it's so loving. It's such a beautiful process. And like, we might start a business, and then just that, like, we learn the lessons from that, and then we go on this path, that path, our relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
think
love it.
God allows us to fail because it's in those moments of like when we're failing, we actually grow the most because we're pushed the most. Where like if I would have finished my home, I would be living there, and I wouldn't have been pushed into the direction where he had originally planned for me was with Joe. And my 20 acres became 65 acres, and with so much more potential now. And this little Earthbag home that was going to be my home now gets to become my retreat center for healing and renewing women and renewing spirits and cleansing, which is what I had always wanted it to be, because now I actually have another home. And so if I would have finished it like I had always wanted, I wouldn't have actually gotten the actual outcome that I really was hoping for. It would have taken a lot longer. So in my failing, I actually won.
Yeah.
But it didn't take that at the beginning. I didn't see that. I was like, just saw my failure. And I was so upset and devastated with myself. Even though the outcome was amazing and look what I gained, I did have to step back. And it took me a little while to like open my eyes and see that. But my girls, who was such a beautiful thing, though they were in the process of it every day, working with me, filling the bags, tamping, climbing on the walls, and that work. And they were so proud of that work that they were creating something with their hands, and they were seeing our dreams come true. But they are really kind of just like go with the flow. Oh, okay, now we're doing this. Okay, now we're doing this. And they are very happy to have a place with hot running water and an inside toilet and not an outhouse outside, and a really nice warm bed inside. So they were thrilled. They didn't ever see it as a failure. They just saw it as, well, we're doing this now. And I don't know, they never were like, Mom, we failed. It was like, oh, well, we didn't finish right now, but here we're going to do this now. And
yeah, we can only conceptualize just a small amount, and like the abundance, and the flow from God, universe, spirit, whatever you want to say, is just like, it's such a bigger picture plan. It's like you get, like, if you're willing to follow that still small voice into this unknown for this blessing, like, I can work with that. Let's see how far we can go with this.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Right now it's covered in 4 feet of snow and all wrapped up in plastic, and it only needs 2 more layers of a bag, and then we can start on the roof. So I was so close.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll finish. Like, as soon as the snow melts and it dries out enough, I'll finish, and then I can work on it all summer, and by fall it'll be like an actual usable place. So I'll be posting pictures and updates on that because everyone's excited to come back and help me finish it and see it actually done. But it'll be a different use. So we're excited about that.
I'm so excited to see that come to fruition for you, and just all the healing that will take place there, and how it'll be used for so many people and so much good. How can people find you and if they want to connect with you and follow your story and connect with you down the road when your healing sanctuary is open and ready for business?
That's a good question. Obviously I have a page set up. It's Lisa's Earthbag home. My sister set up. You can search that. I don't think it's private. And there's like all kinds of updates and pictures and videos on that. And I think anyone can follow that page. So I'll be posting a lot of stuff on that as we start to build again. And then on my personal page, it's just Lisa Nicole Miller. And I don't have, obviously, once it starts to become more finished, I will start to kind of, I think, get a vision of what it's going to be. And then I'm sure I'll create some kind of a website or a separate page for it, but I just don't have it set up at this point.
Well, yeah, it's a process. It's an unfolding, which is so beautiful.
Yeah, but it's a pretty private place up there. The neighbors are all very private, and it's not like a main road, so it's going to be very. It's not going to be like this really busy center. It's small and intimate, and then you rent out the whole thing for a weekend retreat, and then you go home. So there's not like, and then it's very private and very intimate. So
yeah, I mean, the retreat we held, we hold space for 4 women at a time, and the more intimate we've found has been the better. It's just so much can take place there, and yeah, it is nice. And the healers, a lot of us are introverts, and we need that. I mean, even if we're outgoing, we're introverts, and we need that recharge time with the earth and with maybe a couple other, goddesses that we can connect with and build our tribe in that way. But it's deeper. It's much more intimate. So.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. Thank you so much for talking with me today and for sharing your story with my podcast listeners.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I haven't talked about it in a whole. Everything's been kind of a whirlwind winter. We just got 28 inches dumped on us. So we're snowed in for a couple days. That was super fun.
Yeah. And when is the wedding?
March 30th.
Yay. So soon.
Yeah, it's funny. We were going to get married on the mountain where we fell in love. And that was like our big plan. And so we were like, well, summers are really hard for me because I am also a wedding floral designer. So summers are crazy. Plus we knew we were going to be finishing the Earthbag house. And so he's like, well, summer's just toast. So getting married in the summer sucks. So let's get married in the fall. And he was like, I don't want to wait that long. That long. And then spring is just muddy mess up there. So he's like, well, then we better get married before it freezes over, like while it's still a little bit frozen. And so we thought, okay, let's just do March 30th. And we're like, okay, that's fine. It's 3 months away. We can totally do it in 3 months. And then just keeps snowing and keeps snowing. And we're like, we have grandmas and grandpas and nobody's going to be able to get up here. This was probably not the best thought out plan as far as getting married here. So we decided to change the whole location to a very small, intimate bed and breakfast in Sandpoint, where people can, and it's a very small wedding. There's like 35 people of our very closest family. and then everybody gets to spend the night and be together that night. And so it's what we really wanted. We just wanted everybody to be able to be together and visit, and not just like, hey, wedding, and then they all leave, because most of these people I don't have to see for so long. But yeah, so it's all, I think it's kind of all the way it's supposed to, because the way we got this retreat and the way we found it, like someone else canceled and then they call it and then they cut the price in half. They're renting the whole place for us for half the price that it's usually. Yeah, because they're like, oh, it's off season. Oh, we want you to be here. Oh yeah, you want tables and chairs. Oh, you want this? Sure, we'll throw it in. We'll throw it in. We'll throw it in. We're just like, okay. Probably going to cost us the same amount as getting our place ready and renting all the porta potties and helping everyone get up there and all the time. By the time we're done, it's going to be like the same price. So let's just do this.
Oh, and that'll be such a beautiful memory to have that time together. Because, yeah, weddings are kind of a bummer because they're just such a whirlwind and you don't really get to enjoy your people. You might get to enjoy your food. You know, you might get to dance a couple dances. And in this way, you'll just all get to have that intimate time together.
Yeah, that's why we really wanted to keep it small. But
yeah. Do you find that like you aim at something and you think it's for this reason and then you like go in that direction and then God's like, oh, no, honey, over here. But I just needed you to turn here. I mean,
I needed you to learn this lesson and pick up this thing and meet this person, but actually, yeah, all the time.
Yeah. Well, I want you to get married in March. So you're going to have the idea that you're going to do it on your property and you're going to pick that early date because of this. But then there's going to be this and this provision. And it's just, it's gorgeous how it all unfolds when you trust the process.
Yeah. Like, it was funny because I think people assumed it was another reason why we got engaged quickly and then we got the wedding quickly. And I think other people had other like ideas. And we're just like, no, it's just when you know, and we don't want to wait.
We did that too. We started dating in December of 2002, I think. And then by April of 2003, we were engaged and we were married by the end of July of 2003. I mean, we were like boom, boom, boom too, because we knew, like when you know, and it's like, why would you want to wait? That like, I mean, some people waiting is totally their journey and, you know, it is what it is, but like, I'm not a waiter.
Have ever questioned it? They were like, we knew, like they knew. They see us together and our vibe, and they're like, "Why wait? Yeah, don't wait." Like my mom's like, "You lock it down, girl. You hang on to him." So yeah, we've had so much support, and it's been beautiful. And like 3 weeks into our relationship, he was like, "So when is the appropriate time to like get down on one knee?" And I was like, "Whenever you want." And I was totally good with it. It was the crazy thing. I was like. But he's like, okay, I'll wait till you meet my family, and I'll wait till you meet your families, you know, so that they don't think we're crazy. But let's see,
crazy is relative, right? Because I think people that sit in a cubicle or do something that they don't love, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, staying with people that aren't right for them, that's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, realizing like this is good, you know, I learned some stuff, but now it's time for me to move over here and trust this, you know, and go with this direction and then this direction. That to me feels way more sane because you just know.
Yeah. Yeah, because we started dating the 1st of October and he proposed New Year's Eve. And it was like, and he'd been planning on it for a month. So
wow, that would be hard to sit on that.
He just knew. And then so when he did it, he got my girls bracelets and asked their permission to marry me, and then said daddy forever, and he put these bracelets on their wrists, and then he's like, and then he got down on his knee and asked me, and then he gave me a ring, and my family was there, everyone's sobbing, and nobody thought to take pictures or videos, but it was beautiful.
Wow. Sometimes when you're in the moment, the last thing you think of is the camera. So that's actually a good thing.
Yeah, but it was beautiful. And so then we're like, okay, now when are we going to get married? And then we just all started talking about it. And then we thought, let's do it in March. And then, so now it's coming up.
Yay. Okay. Well, I really look forward to seeing pictures and updates and
Thank you.
Lisa Nicole Miller on Facebook, and then Lisa's Earthbag house or home?
I think it's Earthbag Home.
Home, yeah.
Gosh,
Okay.
look.
There can't be that many Lisas building Earthbag homes on Facebook. I would imagine it would be easy to find.
Right. I need to probably go update everyone because occasionally people ask like, "What's going on?" And I posted a video.
I know I check. I'm like, what's she doing? Because I'm like, it's so inspiring.
Yeah, one of the hardest things to do was when I had to post that video about like, because everyone was asking, and when I had to post that video that I quote unquote failed, which
you didn't fail.
I didn't fail, but
it was like plot twist, But
yeah, but it felt like I had because everyone I was like was pushing so hard for me, and everybody was showing up so.
But they're showing up for you, Lisa, not for your outcome. It's
right.
For you. They're showing up for you now in this capacity, and you're so loved. You're so supported and loved.
So it's Lisa's Earthbag Home Building Project is the name of the page.
Cool. Yeah, I'll definitely want to follow along. And then, yeah. And I look forward to seeing wedding pictures. And I bet the flowers are just going to be amazing.
Oh my goodness, it's so funny. Everything's so simple. I'm doing my bouquet and the girls' some bouquets, but the centerpieces are actually beautiful vases that I made with bark from our birch trees on our property, cedar from our property. And so it's just greenery and these pretty vases wrapped in birch bark and twine. And then that's it. And I'm doing those like 2 weeks before because the cedar lasts so long. And then the only flowers are the ones that I'm carrying because I just don't want to be spending days, and I just want to be simple and relaxed. And there's so few people that I'm not going to spend days decorating either. So the place is so gorgeous that we just don't need it. So.
Oh,
yeah.
So exciting. All right. Well, I love you, girl. Thank you for this time together. I appreciate you.
You too. Thanks for letting me share my story.
Oh my gosh. Well, the power of sharing our story is so important. So thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah, of course.
I love you.
You too.
All right.